Oh, there you go. Good job.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Alex and Cassie from the Thrifty couple, and we're here with some very special people that we got to meet this weekend. Do you guys know Steve and Annette with Cardivides? Is that
Correct.
what you said?
Yep.
Woo-hoo!
Good job.
Go over here.
So if you see that, I'm going to go on my phone here and make sure that we're actually live, because we can't tell on that computer. So,
Yes, there you go.
As you're connecting, give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you are on.
and we've also got the YouTube audience.
Oh, there we go. It's building. Yes, okay. And all you folks on our Money Smart Family YouTube channel, we are here with Cassie and Alex, the Thrifty couple, and we're meeting at FinCon 17, which is in Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
And we have been drinking from a fire hose these last few days about some great things to do with our blog, with our YouTube channel, with our, let's think, what else? I'm so overwhelmed. Facebook,
Learning
everything.
Yeah, learning so much more about our financial industry, but in the sense of being frugal and being financially smart.
Yes.
That's what is so cool about this crowd. It's not just like about money, it's about money smartness.
Right.
Smart
How to
money.
get the message out in the most effective way.
And
Exactly.
what we're hearing is a lot of people that want to help others.
Yes.
And that, is, to me, is really heartening. It's not just about making money. It's not just about putting up blogs. It's about seeing difference and seeing change in people's lives.
Okay,
And
we're
that's
not
really
getting a picture.
So, hi, Kiz, and Cindy, and Jamie.
So we want to
Can
know.
you guys hear us?
Thank you. Can you hear us okay?
Oh, you're checking. Oh, awesome.
Yes, we're checking
Yep,
on the phone.
we're getting comments and we're live.
Okay, great.
So,
All right, we're so happy to see all of you. So we're going to do like a little interview.
Okay.
Awesome.
Since our folks on YouTube have never met you guys, or maybe some of them have, but we're not sure. So Cassie and Alex, Steve is going to ask some questions.
Okay.
I get to play Matt Lauer.
Okay.
Right.
Some really tough questions.
And then if there's
at you.
time, you can throw some questions at us for
Perfect.
your
Yes.
for your
No,
Facebook.
We didn't get
Okay.
any of that in writing. We're not
We
experienced
can,
on
we
it.
can fly. We can fly.
So our thing is we love meeting people who have lived or live in the thrifty lifestyle, because to me it's an encouragement, it's an affirmation that we're not weird, we're not brain damaged, and hearing what you say, is going to inspire us, it's going to inspire other people, that there is, number one, there's no one way to live it.
Right.
And number two, there's so much creativity that something you say may just spark it in somebody else.
I know what you're
and
saying,
just
right?
fire them along. Because when you're living the debt-riddled lifestyle, you're really usually hanging out with people who are like that.
Yeah.
And they encourage you to borrow money. Get that new car, buy that bigger house, all this stuff.
Or if you
We want to create that community where it says, don't buy that new car, save your money, pay off debt, all that stuff.
Or if you're struggling with debt, a lot of times you're just thinking about today and tomorrow, and you can't think about next week or a month from now.
Yeah.
And so, we're hoping that today, as we talk through some of these things, that we're going to inspire folks to think about next week and and next month.
And
Not
next
just
year,
not just
far
today.
long future.
And not just to inspire, but to give hope as well.
Okay.
To give hope to others.
and
Yes.
transform. Right?
Yes, yes,
Transform their lives.
absolutely.
So,
So-
are we live on YouTube? It
Yes,
is? Okay.
it's shooting
Got it.
live there, but we're not getting it.
So-
Okay, so we're
you
on
guys-
there. What's your YouTube channel that they can also see on
That's
YouTube?
right.
search for Money Smart Family.
Money Smart Family. Can we?
We've got 170 videos on there and
Okay.
3.5 million views, and we're excited about that. Anyway,
Great.
but I'm more excited about talking about this. This is a book.
Yes,
You guys came out with this
That
book.
was a surprise. I didn't know if you were going to bring that out. Thank you.
This is your newest
you're very
child.
sweet.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, when you write a book, you pour your heart and soul into
Yes.
Yes,
And
we
you-
did.
I'm going to go get ours
it.
too.
And,
Yes.
Yes.
and I mean, the writing, the planning, it's
Well, and
it's a
what's
job.
funny is we wrote the book. Our publisher gave us 4 months, and then they had it for 9 months. So when you said baby, I just thought, oh wait, they had it for 9. We were waiting 9 months.
But in it, so I used it as some reading material last night in the bathroom. And that's where a lot of people read our books.
Exactly,
so,
right? It's a
But,
good spot.
but the truth is, I read your story, and then I read the 2% fact.
Okay.
And what that means.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about that, but I want to just kind of sum up your story, and that is that, you guys got married, and on your wedding day, you had the epiphany that there were some problems. but it wasn't solved right away. It was a process. So what? Kind of explain what got you started living the thrifty lifestyle. I mean, I know on your wedding day you went to check out of the hotel and you didn't have any money
on our honeymoon.
Yes, on our honeymoon.
Yes.
I was on honeymoon.
Yes.
So kind of bring people up to speed on that with the short version, but then talk about what it was that motivated you. Because crisis sometimes does that, but that wasn't the point that motivated you right there.
You know, that's the funny thing right here. We were in so much trouble. We told you guys we had over $108,000 in consumer debt. We were avoiding phone calls. We were avoiding the door because we never knew. We were 120 days late or more on paying our bills. And we knew we could be served. In fact, Cassie was a paralegal in our past.
So you
and
knew.
she knew what could happen.
Yes.
But that wasn't enough. I mean, we knew we had a problem. We were mired in it, but we didn't want to make a change because we wanted to still try to live the lifestyle that we were having for as long as we could make it work. It wasn't until a very special Mother's Day, and we found our why. You want to tell them about that Mother's Day?
We had actually dealt with infertility for a few years in the midst of all of this accumulation of debt. And one morning, it happened to be Mother's Day, we had a positive pregnancy test. And so we knew right then and there that this was no longer, our debt problem was no longer affecting us. It was going to be affecting this new life that God had blessed us with. And we needed to do something about it.
The way I like to explain it is, it was one thing for me to be in that problem. It was one thing for myself and my wife to be in that problem. But to be bringing a newborn child into that really shook us to the core.
Yes.
And that was something you asked about, a very defining moment. And we like to say that became our why. And it's something that we encourage in our book. We say, what is your why? Because so often you start the progress of paying off your debt. You start working through those steps, whatever they may be. And you say to yourself, I can start. And the first week or two may be really easy. But after 2 or 3 or 4 months, you're going to get into that drudgery of, I can't see the end of this.
Yes.
But you have to have something that's going to drive you and say, this is why I'm doing this. This is why we're going to keep going forward. And this is why we're going to hit our goals, because this is our why.
And the baby did that for you.
And the baby did that for us.
That's awesome.
We say that she's our baby that saved us financially.
Oh, that's awesome.
How long was it from the honeymoon emotional, oh gosh, I can't live this way,
the revelation,
to the point where you said, this is our why?
It was actually 4 years.
Four years.
Our honeymoon.
Oh, so
to
you
that
struggled
point,
for 4 years.
So we got into $108,000 of debt over that 4-year time period.
Well, let's be careful. We didn't struggle the first year because we really enjoyed life.
You knew how to juggle.
We really knew how to build up debt.
So it wasn't a struggle, it was a juggle.
Yes, exactly.
And you got really good at juggling to the point where you finally had 7 balls in there. You go, oh, I can't do that.
Wow.
I get it.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that's hard, but that's there's a blessing in that.
There is.
And sometimes we have to get to the point where we're desperate before the change really becomes important enough.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you worked a plan, and you talk about in your book the 2% rule, which is reduce your expenses by 2% a month, increase your earning by 2% a month. And that's like an attainable goal. That's something you'll measure.
Yes.
And it's a little step.
Yes.
And that's cool. So, but now you're out of debt. Okay, so we're just going to skip all that because they have to read it here. Right? Okay. So now you beat it. Yes. You've got a new lifestyle. You've got 6 kids. So, I mean, things have changed. So what is your lifestyle, your philosophy about money? And how are you integrating that in your family with your kids?
Well, I think actually it's really cool. I have a couple of really cool stories. Obviously, we teach and live a debt-free life, and also along that process, just be making wise financial decisions about everything that you do. And we've just been teaching our kids these principles, but we haven't necessarily said, you must do this, right?
Right.
It was actually really cool because our oldest, the baby that saved us financially, she turned 13 this year.
Oh, my word.
She turned 13 in January. And so for her birthday, we gave her a $100 bill. And anyway, her younger sister asked her just before we left here for this trip. She said, "By the way, where did you use that $100 bill on?" She said, "I haven't yet. I still have it. I'm saving it."
That's awesome.
And it wasn't. We told her. We said, "This is your birthday money," because we normally teach our kids. They do all kinds of things to earn money, and we have them save half, and we also have them tithe on 10% of it, and then they get to do whatever they want with the other 40%. But when we gave that to her for her birthday, we said, "This is your birthday money. We're not going to make you apply those rules to your birthday money." But yet she has on her own just chosen to save that. Now, I didn't tell you.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't get a chance to tell her
That is awesome.
so it's just like the little things like that, just the fruit of that.
Yes.
That the kids are picking up on, and it's just amazing to see that.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
it just kind of flows into everything when that is like your
Okay.
lifestyle.
And something, just to mention something, as far as the family philosophy on money, it's a family conversation.
Yeah.
Back when we were in so much debt, Cass and I, we were accused of being over communicators. We always talked to her on the phone all the time. No one ever thought that anyone could communicate more than Cassie and myself. But we didn't ever talk about money.
Yeah.
Because
Never
we were,
talked about money.
and I think in some ways we
It was too
talked
painful?
about this
Yeah.
somewhat. Yeah, it was too painful. We were scared. If
Well-
we spoke about it, that could change everything.
I think we were scared later on, but early on we didn't talk about it because we only talked about what we wanted to do. We didn't
That's
want to be the one to be like,
right.
"No, we shouldn't do that." We didn't want to be the one to say to the other one,
Right.
"No,"
Nobody wanted to play the Grinch.
Nobody wanted to play the Grinch.
And so where we're at today, and to contrast that, now it's a family conversation.
Yes.
One
That's
thing that we talk
wonderful.
about, we actually talk about, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but one thing that's so different now is we talk about money all the time. And in fact, one thing that we encourage families on today, in fact, in the book and then also today, is something we call the family stand-up meeting. Now, I work in software. I won't try to bore you guys too much, but there's a stand-up meeting where you say, what did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? And do you have any blockers?
Yes.
Well, we have a very similar thing in our family when it comes to money. We'll sit down and we'll say, what did we spend yesterday? What do we plan to spend today? And is there anything that's coming up that's going to be a huge impact to our budget?
Wow,
And
that's wonderful.
all of a sudden now, it's not just Cassie and myself, but it's our children
our
as
whole
well.
family, yeah.
So now we know, and the children are just learning as it goes on, that this is just what we do. We talk about money.
That's
We're open
awesome.
about it. So that way there's no gotchas coming up, but it's all right there.
So one of the kids will say, I got invited to Sabrina's birthday party, and I need a present next week.
That's right. That's right. It starts off small when they're little, like that.
Yes.
But then they get older, and then
Yes.
it's like, I've got this, class trip I'm supposed to be taking.
Right,
So
right.
how did he know about Sabrina's birthday party next week? That's scary. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
So, now look, we know you guys are perfect. Now that you've had this epiphany.
Oh,
And
boy.
so everything is just running smooth. There's never any hiccups.
Never a mistake.
Nothing at all.
Ever.
And we know that too. That's the same with us. No, that's absolutely a lie. And
Right?
we at one point in time we wanted to buy a new car, and we weren't going to borrow money for it, so we decided to breed dogs. That was a dumb idea. We only lost $300. It was, so we make mistakes. We think we're being smart, and so along the way, just be transparent. And
Right.
share just a couple of the things that happened since you had the epiphany that we're going to live within
Right.
our means. We're going to pay off debt, and we're going to try and do it the right way. What kind of,
Share a
what kind
couple of
pitfalls?
mistakes.
You want to start with the beginning of our debt payoff? Or
Well,
do you have another one?
no. I'm not
Pick
sure.
one.
Well, I think that one place we always, and I'm not sure if this is a great place to start or not, but when we started the debt payoff, we made the mistake that we said that we were going to try to do what a lot of people try to do. And a lot of people say, I'm going to create the ideal budget, and it's going to be 80% smaller than any budget I've ever had. And this is going to be the perfect budget.
It
And
look
it's
beautiful
going to
on
be,
paper. Yeah.
and we are going to live so closely to it that we're going to pay off this debt so quickly. It's going to be scary.
I call that the holding breath budget.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
The
How long
holding
can
breath
you hold
budget.
your breath? It's not gonna
So how long did
Yeah.
it work for?
I think 2 days. and the problem is, so we were 2 days in, I think we were out. We were trying to use coupons at the store. It was late. It's like, okay, we just gotta go. We gotta get something to eat. So we said, well, we're gonna do this. Well, we did what we call falling off the wagon. We fell off the wagon. We said we're gonna start again next week. And then the next week came, and that same thing happened after a few days. And after 3 years, we only paid off $15K of consumer debt, right?
Which is actually, it's a lot of debt, $5,000 a year. So
Yeah.
But when you have
300 a month,
108,
yeah.
Right.
all you
right.
saw was this is going to take forever.
Right. So
Discouraging.
what did you decide to do?
So that's when we really came up with what we call the 2% plan, where we said, in fact, we didn't know what it was. We didn't call it the 2% plan or the 2% rule or anything like that. But we said, we got to do something different. And so we said, let's start being a little more gradual, a little bit more intentional. We said, the first month, let's just trim off a little bit off our budget, and then let's use that extra to go towards our debt. And let's maybe bring in a little bit more. Let's not try to go shoot the moon and make
Right,
as much
right,
income
right,
as we
right.
can, but let's make some income and put that towards our debt as
And
well.
did it start to snowball at that
It
point?
did. It
It
did.
did.
Yes.
In
And then
fact,
it got to be fun.
Yes.
It got
very
to be
fun.
3
I mean, it
years.
was amazing to see how
Yeah.
quickly it was falling off.
Oh, that's so
We
exciting.
had what we call our $50,000 year, and that was the third of the 3 years because it just continues to build on itself. And that third year, we paid off almost $50,000 of the remaining $90,000.
Wonderful.
And that was almost primarily just by building that 2% income because you do hit a floor with the 2%
Right,
just decrease.
right.
You can only stop spending so much. But with the income increase, we just kept building that up with side hustles and just things that we were doing as a family.
Nice.
So
And
you
so it
involved the
wasn't-
kids with this?
Yes.
We did involve the kids
So
with
how
it.
much did the kids pay you?
They were real little.
You
but
didn't
at
sell them
this
or
time.
anything.
We thought about it. No, I'm just kidding. So,
Well, that's another thing. I'm not even sure. Did we share this in the book? I'm not sure.
what?
We actually started off by delivering newspapers. We had something called the Golden Ticket, where we had a newspaper delivered to our door. Had a gold piece of paper on it that said, "We're looking for newspaper delivery people."
$200 a route?
And so,
Yeah.
one mistake we made. So we had a 2-month-old
6
and
weeks.
this little girl, a
actually.
6-week-old, and she was in the back seat while we were delivering phone books at
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And one day we forgot to buckle
buckle
her
her.
in, and we heard boom, 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 boom. And it
Of
was,
course, it rolled. That's what happens when you deliver newspapers day after day. After 6 weeks of waking up at that time,
she was okay.
she was fine.
She was fine.
Yes.
But this was the first ever we've ever shared this with anyone with you guys.
This is exclusive.
Information.
Don't tell
Yes.
anybody about
But
it.
you know what? We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And like you said, she was fine.
Yeah.
And that's life with kids. You pick up, you dust yourself off, and you keep going.
So,
Yes.
so let me take just a sidetrack on that. So you did the newspaper thing. That's exhausting.
It is.
You're
Yes.
a new mom.
Yes.
So you guys did it together.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
How long did that last?
That lasted, I think it was about 8-9 weeks. And then we got smarter and found something better. And that was actually delivering phone books.
Oh, you
Oh,
do that
I've heard of
anytime.
that.
We could do
Yes.
that anytime. And my family's actually done that to help pay for my sister's college expenses. And over like a 2-3 month period on the side, they made $7,500 doing
Wow.
it. So
So what this tells me is, if you're
There's
just
always a
starting
side
out,
Just start,
you're going to try
yes.
something, and don't hold it like this is the only thing.
Right.
you can do.
Right.
And as we've seen in the Through to Life, the longer you live it, and the more you realize that there are opportunities everywhere.
Right.
You're going to say, "Yep, it's a good idea for that time. This didn't work. Let's let it go. We're going to find another one.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Right.
find another one, and you're going to keep building on those successes.
And
get
we
smarter.
actually go through that progression in our book to talk about how we got to where we were and tried to get into that.
One of the
we
things
were
I-
making $3 an hour delivering newspapers.
Oh.
Good evaluation.
Yeah.
One of the things I disagree with Dave Ramsey, I love his message, but I don't like the idea of saying to young families, look, you got in debt, you're going to have to work night and day to get out of debt. Take 2, take 3, take 4 jobs. I don't care what it takes. You got to hate debt. I agree, you got to hate debt.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't agree that you need to go
Work
and work
2 and 3
yourself to
jobs.
death.
Yeah.
I think working smarter, and you guys saying, look, we're making $3 an hour. We can do better than this.
Yeah.
And those opportunities will just come to you because there's a balance between keeping your family and your marriage intact
Right.
and paying off debt.
I think that's
and,
a good point.
And I believe that if you keep your marriage and family strong, you're going to pay off the debt. And
Yeah.
you're going
Right.
to find a way, and it's not going to destroy you, because that's not what we want.
And
Right.
determination is so important. It just sounds like
Yeah.
you had that commitment and you just figured it out along the way.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no formula, one size fits all formula. Every family has to figure out what's going to work for them.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's finish up with the last question.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's encourage people.
Okay.
This is always fun. The best deals, the thrifty wins when you go, oh, we didn't know this would work, but this is so cool. That's what we want to talk
Yes.
about.
So there's, I mean, over a lifetime of being thrifty, it's what it feels like. How long have we been kind of living this lifestyle now? Like, I guess about 13 years.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So over 13 years, that's really, really hard to narrow down.
Uh-huh.
But,
Right, just pick a few.
And
Okay.
we only have like 15 hours, so
okay. So I know one, just right off the top of my head, a deal that I think was one of the best deals we got, only because of the emotional part of it.
Uh-huh.
And that was at the very beginning of us working on paying off our debt. We had 2 little girls. And at that point, we had not started saving for Christmas, but we didn't want to go into debt for Christmas. But now Christmas was like becoming real because we had 2 girls that could actually remember it now.
Right.
So we needed to actually be parents.
Right.
But we didn't have the money. And so what we ended up doing was they wanted a kitchen, a play kitchen.
Oh.
And so we found one at a garage sale. And
Yes.
it was dirty, but it was $10.
yeah.
And we took it home and cleaned it up. And then we, on Black Friday at Toys R Us, they sold their exclusive brand of dishes and food, the big boxes,
Oh.
for $10. So for $30, they got a nice kitchen and pots and pans and food.
Oh, that
And,
sounds wonderful.
And it was one of the most memorable Christmases because it was like, wow, we did this with $30.
What would you
And that was
okay,
just
roll it
emotional.
back 5 years earlier.
Sure.
If you had had kids before the Epiphany, what do you think you would have spent? I mean, these are your
Yeah.
kids.
Well,
this
I
is
know-
Christmas.
Yeah, I know what we would have spent because we were spending hundreds, close to a few $1,000s on Christmas
Just for the 2 of you.
extended family.
Oh my
and
God.
us.
Wow.
So I
Right.
know what would have happened.
Okay.
And you know what?
So this is
And the
huge.
holidays are just around the corner.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
I think it is important. I just want to jump in here for a second and just say, you know, if you're struggling financially and you're trying to pay off debt, you don't have to go hog wild
No.
financially on the holidays to make them memorable, like you're
Yes.
saying.
Yes.
Because sometimes the thoughtfulness behind the gift is far more valuable than just spending dollars.
Right.
So if you're in that position, think now. Make a list of everybody you need to buy for this holiday, and
Or
think about how you can do
want to
that.
buy for, because we don't need to buy anything.
That's
for
true.
anybody.
Who you
Right.
want to buy
Who
for?
you want to buy for. And
Yeah.
we even do a lot of homemade gifts.
Yes.
You know, Grandma and Grandpa love homemade gifts from the kids, and it's just like all
Baking is always a great
Baking
thing.
is
That's good.
good.
Homemade gifts are great. Just don't make whole wheat bagels.
Yeah.
Whole wheat bagels. We did that one. We thought it was the coolest thing. That one, no, that
Maybe if you put pumpkin spice in them,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
would
they
change
were
everything.
terrible.
went over like a pregnant bull dog.
So I guess.
Pregnant pole vaulter.
So I guess Cassie's
All
going
right.
to cancel her post on a whole wheat bagel.
Okay. I guess I'll forget that post.
All right.
So a kitchen at Christmas, and did the kids like it?
It was an amazing Christmas. It was one of our most memorable
Oh,
Christmases.
I'm so
And it was
hold on,
fun.
that was 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago,
You
yes.
still have that kitchen?
I was just going to tell you, about 4 or 5 years ago, we sold that same kitchen in our own garage sale for $5.
Okay, so the cost of ownership
Right.
was $5
Yep.
over a period of either
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
$1 a year for Christmas.
But then you divide it by 2 girls.
Oh,
you know,
that's only
50
50 cents a year.
That sounds awesome. That
Okay,
sounds
Alex,
awesome.
so give me one of yours.
Okay,
What's
so
memorable for you?
this is sound funny, and we share it in the book as well. Last year, 2016, was the Spartan year. So, Spartan. Has anyone out there ever heard of the Spartan race? Of
Spartan
course,
races.
everyone has the Spartan obstacle course racing.
I'm Greek. I've never heard of
I
it.
Oh, you guys haven't heard of these?
Explain it
Okay.
real quick.
None of them.
So it's like running all the way up a mountain, lifting up 50 to 100-pound big blocks of rock, going over 8-foot walls,
Wow.
going
Obstacle
under,
course.
going
the rock?
Yeah. Well, no. Not
not that one.
overalls.
Going under barbed wire in the mud,
Oh my
and
gosh.
all this kind of stuff. And people pay to do this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I paid to do, or Cassie paid for me to do it. She wanted.
And you don't like
Where is it though? Does it take place at the same
It's
place
all
every
over the world.
All over.
All
And
over
so-
the world, yeah.
But is it in your state?
It's in our state,
did.
but here's the deal. So Cassie bought me something called an annual pass because she knew I really wanted to do this.
Aw.
Okay.
Yeah, because
that's
each race
so
was about $120, but the annual pass was $400.
Yeah.
So
400 or 500.
and you could run
yeah.
as many as you want in the year.
And so what she did, you say, how's that thrifty? Well, we had a lot of airline tickets. We also
The vouchers.
drove places as a family. We also had something called a Christian Hospitality Network where we could stay with families.
Yes, I've heard
And
of that.
I took food with me and packed it, so
Right.
we didn't have to spend money. And I was able to go enjoy a full year of running all these races, whether it be California,
Like
Utah,
how many
Idaho,
races?
Montana.
11.
I ran.
You got your money's
Yeah.
worth.
I love
Wow.
So
All
it's-
over the country.
It was 13 total. 'Cause
Oh,
I ran
13,
a couple.
sorry.
Yeah. So, but
No,
yeah.
that's still
Yeah.
awesome.
And it was an amazing year, and we spent extremely little money
Yes.
because we
The
were able
story's
to.
actually in
yeah.
the book.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. We haven't gotten through there. You
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been fun.
It has
I
been
hate
to make
great.
it end.
I know, we do.
Okay, so bottom line is, though, you guys are enjoying life
Yes.
so much more now than
So
you did
much
before
less
because
stress.
there's no regrets.
Yeah.
Right.
You spent money. You spent $400. You probably spent $1,000 total on the whole year of
He nailed
Wow.
it.
quote-unquote
He's reading our minds.
yeah, recreational
Did you
activities.
did you read that book?
No,
Did you read that?
I didn't read that.
Okay.
But the point is, you had number one, you had the freedom to do it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you've got this joy now. Whereas before, you talk if we fast forward backwards
Yeah.
to the honeymoon, you spent the stuff, but you had regrets for years.
Right.
Yes.
But you were doing some fantastic things. I mean, you talked about this dinner that you spent money on. Just fantastic.
Right. And we don't really, it wasn't as special as we thought it was going to be. I mentioned that we started off our wedding, we had fireworks, and at that dinner after we got the
Yeah, that was
loan,
quick.
after we checked out of the hotel, the fireworks were going off at the top of this building in a beautiful city, and the magic just wasn't there. And I think it's because of just that dread.
But now, when you
fear.
shared the story about the Spartan race, I saw fireworks.
Yeah. There you go.
I
There you
saw
go.
excitement,
Yeah.
and that is one of the biggest benefits
Right.
of living a thrifty, frugal lifestyle. is
Okay, so-
you're going to have these moments. You're
so-
going to have this excitement.
So let's offer folks a few more resources. Your website is
TheThriftyCouple.com.
And
Our-
your book is called,
The 2% Rule to Get Debt-Free Fast.
and they can get this.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble,
Independent
any-
books,
any-
anywhere books are
anywhere
sold.
books are sold.
We're going to put a link to Amazon
Oh, you guys are sweet.
on this
Okay.
video. Not
Okay.
the bottom.
And then our website is moneysmartfamily.com. And this is our first book, which is a New York Times bestseller, talks about household finances. America's Cheapest Family Gets You Right on the Money. And it's available on our website from us if you want a signed copy. But once again, you can find it on Amazon, in the bookstores, Barnes & Noble, and all that
So,
stuff.
Sweet.
so I want to ask a question. So we have, not only are we live streaming on YouTube, but we're also live streaming right now on Facebook on the Thrifty Couple website. So I know a lot of our readers, or a lot of our watchers are saying, I've seen this couple before. Where have they seen you before?
Well, we've done a lot of national TV. So we've been on Good Morning America. We've been on the Today Show. We've been on 2020, Nightline,
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. We've done The Talk. We've been a lot of
You
places.
got to meet Marie Osmond and do her
Yes,
show.
Montel
wow.
Williams. So
Yeah.
we've been all over. And just happy to greet all of you folks from the Thrifty Couple and be here. And likewise, our YouTube channel, I'm sure, is thrilled to be introduced to Cassie and Alex from the Thrifty Couple.
So maybe you could share just a couple minutes. Why are you America's cheapest family? What is that about?
That's true. We didn't really get to us, did
Well,
we?
when we
Right.
first got married, neither of us had any debt, no college loans. I was earning $6.50 an hour as a pay stub artist, and Annette wanted to stay home and manage our home. And people thought we were crazy. My dad told me, you work 2 jobs, she should work 1 job, you save every penny you have, and be in a house in 3 years. We bucked that trend. She stayed home, I worked 1 job, did a little bit of freelance graphic design work. Within 3 years, we had enough money to put 15% down on the house. We paid that house off in 9 years. In that 9-year period, we had 5 kids.
Wow.
We adopted three.
Two.
We adopted two. We had three. That's right. The last three kids we added in our family were added within 4 months of each other.
Wow.
It was a little
It
nuts.
was
That is
insane.
crazy.
But the whole point is, we started living Thrifty out of necessity. I was earning $650 an hour, $838 a month take home,
Wow.
and we were committed never to borrow it.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
But for us, just like you had that aha moment, and now when you talk about things you're excited about, that was the same for us. We started out of necessity, but we thought, okay, let's play this game, but let's play this game to win.
Yeah.
So we started making just
We make frugal
fun. We make frugal fun. So we gathered our resources. We knew where we could find things, and we had everything everybody else had. We just got it differently.
So,
Right.
you know, when we have a need now, we have two choices. Actually, we don't even have this choice. You can run to the bank, or you can use creativity. So credit or creativity. And our thing is, there's always somebody who has what you want.
Right.
And we don't want it anymore. So we're going to find that person. And when we do, we get a deal. They get rid of something. I mean, last week we bought a new camera for shooting our videos, and it was supposed to cost $550. I got the camera with a flash and extra batteries and chargers and extra lenses
And a case.
for $350.
Wow.
Right.
And, you know, and I've been saving for a year for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's always deals. And I don't have to
Right, and the truth is, when you're young, you can always work more, but you have to balance that with making sure you're spending time together as a couple, making sure you're spending time with your kids. So frugal living takes what you have and stretches it so much further, and sometimes
That's right.
it can simplify your life.
Yeah.
So that's why we like frugal living.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay.
Well,
And
thank
we
you
have-
guys so
and
much.
we do have 3 books. This is
Yes.
the first one.
Yes.
The second one is Cut Your Grocery Bill in Half, just about grocery savings. And the third one is the Money Smart Family System, teaching financial independence to children of every age.
So
I'm
our kids
excited. Yeah,
are
I'm
our
really
kids are a
excited
little
about
ahead of
reading
yours. And so ours have all gone to college. Not all of them went to 4-year schools.
Sure.
But none of them, while they were living with us, borrowed a dime. Most of them graduated.
Definitely.
Well,
All of them except for one.
One chose a different path. But we have 2 kids that they're adults now. They're in school. They're going for master's degrees.
That is so awesome.
It is exciting.
It's really cool to see that.
So if you're listening to this, I'm going to add right after we're done a link to Amazon where you can find all 3 books, and then they'll be able to find out exactly
Tell me
what
the name of the kids one again.
The kids one is the Money Smart Family System,
Okay.
teaching financial independence to children of every age.
It's
Yeah.
about the system we use to transfer what we knew about money to our kids.
Your kids. I actually started reading a little bit of it, and I love the system that you guys have created there, so I'm really excited to dig in.
Okay.
So,
All right.
cool.
Great being with you, and
Yes,
great being
thank
with
you.
all of you. Write your comments, and we will go through and answer questions.
And share
Yeah.
these videos with anybody
Yes.
you know that could use the help, because we
Yes.
want to see lives change.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Time for changing lives.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.